everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming in today. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today is a sew and tell for my first completed Make 9 item of 2018. I am so excited about it. And stay tuned to after I do all of the little review. Some of you like took advantage of the Craftsy specials. I had the affiliate link down there, so that's awesome. So there was a couple other ones that popped up that maybe you're interested in. I'll share those at the end. But anyway, let's jump into what this video is about. I am finishing up the video. Today is Saturday the 24th, and I started parts of what needed to go in the video before, and I saw a video last night, and I will share that because it may help some of you who are thinking about doing this this pattern. But anyway, the pattern is M6044, and this is the men's shirt, and I did view A. And let me show you the line drawing here on the back. I chose view A because it did not have the yoke. Since this was my first time at the rodeo doing a men's shirt, I decided just to do view A, which is very, you know, I didn't want to deal with the yoke piece. I'm not going to say it was simple because, you know, I still had to deal with the collar and the buttons and everything, which I actually had to do buttonholes and buttons because if you follow me on this channel, you know on many occasions, anytime a piece called for button placket and buttonholes, I never did the buttonholes, period. I just was so on the buttons, especially if it was something I can get over my head. But yeah, men don't put their shirts on over their head like that, right? So yeah, so I did view A. So, okay, you all know how I store my patterns, and this is my Big 4 pattern, the way I store it. So let me just start out by saying I did cut out the extra large. Now here's the thing. This is, once I, you know, got into it and everything, I fastly realized this would be a TNT for my husband, a tried and true, because these are, besides maybe polo shirts, these are all the type of shirts he wear. And most of them have the yoke in the back, and this pattern has a piece with the yoke in the back right there, which is view E. And so I was like, oh, this would be a TNT, but I cut this out originally, oh my goodness, I think May of last year, May of 2017. And I know. I cut this out in May of 2017, and I'm just sewing it now, March 2018. He didn't change in size. I cut out a extra large for him, but when my pattern band is up, I will repurchase this pattern just so I can trace it, because I feel more comfortable with my TNTs that they're traced. And let me just be honest, quite honestly, I've been tracing all of my patterns, be it indie or Big 4, only because I have to make so many adjustments to my own patterns that, you know, I don't feel like all like going back to the store buying and hoping for a sale and all this other different stuff. So no, I've just been tracing them. So I just end up cutting out all the extra large pieces, and he didn't change. He went down like a half an inch or something like that based on, I think, on the measurement. So it wasn't any big deal. He likes his, and I'll show video clips and pictures while I'm talking, but he tends to like his clothes a little baggy. He's not a, you know, a big guy. I mean, he's 6'4", but he's not like a meaty guy or anything like that. So yeah, so here is the shirt. Let me get right to it. Here is the shirt. Those are the buttons. I mean, and I'm sorry, this needs to be ironed because I had this kind of on my lap when I was doing the buttonholes and I didn't iron it. It will be ironed when you see him in the video. But someone had mentioned, I forget who it was, that men's shirts are easier. They find easier to sew up than a woman's. And also Myra Lorraine has sewn several of these. I don't think she's done the video on them. I would love to see her lookbook, Myra. I would love to see your lookbook, your husband, what he did. But I tend to agree. There wasn't anything overly complicated. Now, here's the thing. My review is, this is probably more for an intermediate person because of the button and button placket rather. It didn't cause for me to do any, what is that? Flat, where you do the double seam here. What's that called? Flat felt? Is that flat felt? And his other shirts have that. So this is a wearable muslin, I told him I will not be mad if he wore it once or twice, and we donated it. And so, but he said he liked it. He liked the way it fit. And so I am going to pause the video and let's talk about what's going on here behind these seams. Hold on. First, let me zoom in so you can see the buttons. So here are the buttons. Button placket, buttons. And let me just say this before I show you on the inside. I did put the button at the top. He never buttons all the way up to the top, and I almost left the button off, but I was like, ooh, I guess that would look weird. So I did go ahead and put the buttonhole and the button at the top, even though he'll never button that. And but let me stand back. You see that? Can you tell that hem? It doesn't meet. It met before I put the buttons on, but after I put the buttons on, it did not meet. And here's where some suggestions before I go inside I could use from any of you. Please definitely chime in the comments. Okay, first of all, the way I placed the buttonholes on here was I marked them with my marking tool, I think the pilot pen, and I laid the pattern piece over the placket that was already sewn and just marked where the buttons would go, right? And then when I did, when I sewed them on, I thought I lined up the top right. So this is how, see how that's off at the top? See that little bit that's off? So that made the bottom off, and I didn't realize it when I was doing it. So my question is, when you guys are doing buttonholes, I think this is my first time ever doing buttonholes and the buttons. What is your best tip or idea that you have for making sure that this stuff like this don't happen, where you have the bottom that's one end is longer than the other? Do you, I don't know, do you pin everything down first and then put the buttons in? I don't know. Do you do a tailor's tack or something? And I don't know. I was thinking about it and I was like, well, I thought I had everything laying pretty straight, and I was doing it on my lap. So if that's probably a big no-no. Maybe I needed to have this laying flat out. And the thing is, my sewing machine does sew on buttons, but I didn't feel like learning that last night. I did not feel like learning yet one more thing. I've done the actual buttonholes many a times on my machine, but I've never used the actual, and I've done that for other projects, not for clothes. I've never used the buttonhole maker to sew on the buttons. And so I don't know. So I did it by hand, and maybe, obviously I didn't line up everything right, but if you have a suggestion on how to line everything up right, I would greatly appreciate it. So that's that. So let's, oh, you know what? And let's talk about this collar. So the collar is done. I was a little confused on the collar step, but I had to, go over it because I've successfully completed a collar before. And I was like, wait a minute, it's sandwiched in between. And I had the pieces in the wrong order. And so I don't know necessarily that was the instructions or just me or a combination of both. But I'm just going to say I figured it out. Although I trimmed too much. You know how you put this piece up under, and you're supposed to slip stitch all the way around, which I did not. I did that, but I trimmed too much off, so I had struggled, if you can see, a little bit with the ends. I don't even know if you can tell with this color, but it's a little thready right there because I had to keep unpicking and forcing that raw edge up under that collar stand piece. And so it's a little, yeah, it's a little thready right there. But other than that, the collar turned out great. Let me just show you all the way around. Yeah, the collar turned out really nice. And yeah, so let's get into what's going on behind the seams here. So I finished everything on the machine, right? And then I just serged. The thread doesn't match, but again, this is a wearable muslin. The hem turned out just fine. Down here, I actually serged the raw edge. I didn't take anything off the raw edge. Then I flipped it because of course they kind of want you to do that small turn and turn. Yeah, that was it's just easier for me to flip something that's a little bit the edge where it's a little bit more sturdier. So that's what I did. So that was nice and clean. The sleeves, it was the same thing. I would have done the sleeves a little different, but I know where they were going. They had you flip it and then baste around the folded edge and then unfold it and fold it in. Yeah, I would have did it differently. And I will do it differently next time. That was a little bit too much, but it turned out just fine. And so inside, I had to unpick this collar several times because, again, like I said, I cut off way too much of the seam allowance and it was not enough to tuck up underneath there. So I had to play with that a few times. So that's the collar. And I don't know if you can tell, I'm gonna try to, but only a portion of it I had to slip stitch. That was too short, it didn't grab. And so it's not very much. It was, can you see that? It's just that little bit there. And you're supposed to slip stitch the whole thing. I didn't want to do that because I was like, well, if you edge top stitching it anyway, what's the point of all of that? And so I didn't. And so this is how it looks. And my thread matches very well. So yeah, I mean, it don't look crazy or anything. It just need to be ironed. So take that into account. This needs a good pressing. And so, and then there was a couple pieces where I didn't pay attention. I kind of puckered it a little bit. But again, when you have it on, you see in the pictures, you can't even see all of that in the little video clip. So that's it. I have no complaints about the pattern. I highly recommend it if you are a little bit more intermediate sewing and getting into, you want to sew up your significant other, husband, spouse, the shirt. I found view A. As you can tell, I did not do the pocket. I just wanted to keep it real simple as a wearable muslin before I start messing around with pockets. He don't use pockets anyway, and I don't think he could care less about the pocket. But what I will do different is we will use some fun colors. So see how that check is there. We got some pink there. You see how there's the contrasting colors with the, so we'll do some contrasting color in the neckband and all of that. And so we'll find some, and he wants linen out of this. And so, yeah, there will be more done because I do have a special collection coming up, and I'll share that probably in April. But yeah, so that's it. And here's the thing, because I was having a little trouble with going backwards on the collar stand and I was Googling M6044, any tutorials out there, and there weren't any. But I did come across Hilda's Saturday Night Stitch here on YouTube. She had a blog post, and I thought she had a tutorial in there, like a little video embedded, but she didn't. But last night, I saw a video pop up and she's doing a sew along for this. So I will link her video. She talked about the sew along and showed the one she's done for her husband. And he modeled them, and they're so funny. And so if you guys are interested in doing a sew along for this, follow Hilda. She is awesome. And Saturday Night Stitch. She is awesome. Love her work. And so yeah, you can follow along on that. And last but not least, for those who are interested in other Craftsy deals, I do have a couple more. There is a Ultimate Makers package that Craftsy is running. I'll leave the link below. I'll pop a picture up. And then for those quilters out there, maybe you're interested, there's the Ultimate Quilting package. I'll pop that picture up and leave that down below. And then those who are into quilting, crocheting, knitting, they're having up to a 60% off sale on kits and supplies and all that good stuff. I'll pop that picture up and that link will be down below. And then all other relevant information. People have asked, you know, different types of supplies and stuff. So I have affiliate links that are down below, and you guys know how affiliate links work. And so if you're interested, go ahead on and read the description box and check those out. So that is that. Leave your comments down below if you made them, if you have any suggestions on these buttonholes, how I should lay this out and mark them so I don't have the uneven hemline. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. No, I think from start to finish with the buttonholes, it probably took me 8 hours or so, only because this was my first time with the whole collar stain and button placket, and I hand sewed on the buttons. But I used my buttonhole maker on my machine for the actual buttonholes, which were a little crooked. I don't think I mentioned that, but they were a little crooked, and that's because I didn't have the fabric, you know, twisted around just right, and so they're slightly crooked, but that's okay. That is all good. So my first Make 9 item for 2018 is in the books. It is in the books. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Like I said, any comments, questions, thoughts, whatever, leave them down below. And when I make more, because I will be, I'm on task to make several more of these for something that's coming up. But yes, I will share that in a future video. So thank you, everybody. You all have a wonderful rest of your week. And I will have a couple other Make 9 videos coming up here shortly. Completed items. All right, everybody. Have a blessed one. Bye.